Yeah, so we got a chance to talk about or play Pokemon Unite. It came out just about a week or so ago, and yeah, we heard about this game like a couple months ago. Is that right? If I remember correctly. It
Yeah, it was a
was
long time ago,
a
actually.
long time ago. Okay,
I feel like it was either early 2021 or late 2020.
okay. Has it
It
been a bit
might have
that
been early
long?
20. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't remember. It had its own little presentation,
That's true.
like
It
its own
did.
Pokemon
Yeah.
Presents.
So yeah, if you're unfamiliar with Pokemon Unite at all, it's a free to play multiplayer online battle arena kind of game. If you're familiar with other games like League of Legends, it's kind of similar to that. Not exactly the same, of course, but similar enough where you basically control a Pokemon on a team, and your goal is to defeat other Pokemon on the other team, but also wild Pokemon that are out there, and you get points. And you go score those points on in designated areas. So that's the basic idea of the game. And Jakester in the chat is telling us that it was June 24th of 2020 when we found out about this game.
Yeah,
So
so over a year ago.
over a year ago. So time flew. It's pandemic time. So, but yeah, there was an update on August 2nd as well. Already getting updates. But yeah, let's just talk about our time with the game. I'd love to hear what you guys. Your experience with the game so far, what it's been like, and kind of give a little bit of a review in our game chat tonight. Barry, let's go to you first. What have you thought about your experience with Pokemon Unite so far?
So I'm not a huge MOBA person. I didn't do League of Legends or any of that, but I did do Arena of Valor when that came out on the Switch, and that was my first experience with this. And I actually really enjoyed Arena of Valor. I actually played it for a couple weeks every day, just a little bit. So when this came out, I'm like, and I started playing. I'm like, oh, okay, this is right in the same ballpark. So I knew what to expect, and I played it since it launched every day, doing not like huge amounts, just like the daily stuff, doing the daily missions every day, and having a lot of fun with it for the most part. I say for the most part because there are a few little nitpicks that I have, and one of them could be alleviated with some proper team communication. Obviously, if you go in with a group of four other people, you have a headset, maybe you're in Discord. I could see it being a ton of fun. But when you're with randoms, even with ranked, you don't have that communication, and the in-game communication is minimal, only preset messages, and
And
I
very
think
few preset messages.
very few. And I think a lot of it could be, uh, if you're not with the right people, you don't gel well. And you have to play smart. This is a team game. So you have somebody, I'm going to be by myself, and they're not helping. And if you're like, oh, you know what, you have 50 points to score, and somebody else has 3 points to score, and there's 2 points left on the particular goal, and the person with 3 points goes boom, I'm done, and walks away, and it's like, wait a minute, as a team, let me score my 50 points because that's more valuable for us to win. And I've had that happen a couple times, and I'm just like, why? Like, we're supposed to be a team. You can see how many I have. You should be letting me score, or because I always do the same courtesy to other people who have more, just because it's a team effort. It's a whole score. That's how you win. The other nitpick I have, and maybe this is something I'm missing. I haven't looked it up. I can't figure it out. When you start the game, you get to pick a Pokemon. That Pokemon is always what I start at when going into a room, but that's not my main Pokemon, even though my favorite on my home screen is my main Pokemon. And it almost becomes more of a, like, the harder challenge is actually being able to pick my Pokemon to start with, as opposed to actually playing the match, because only one person on a team could be that Pokemon. So you have to constantly click over, like, can I get it? Can I get it? And maybe it's something I'm missing, but despite what's listed as my favorite Pokemon is, it's not the one that starts when I get into the lobby, and it's frustrating to like lose out to somebody else. And it's like, oh, now I got to play as a second or my third Pokemon because I do have a couple I play as, but I'm never enjoying it as much as my main Pokemon. So that is something that's kind of irks. I don't know if there's the fix to that, and I'm just missing something. But every time I try to look it up, it's like, oh, here's which Pokemon you should pick as your starter. I'm like, I don't want that.
Right.
That's not what I'm
That
trying to look for.
that is kind of weird because like it's not like a game that you can only have one of. Like you can have multiple Pikachu. There's thousands, millions of whatever Pikachu that technically exist in this world. Why can you only have one per game?
Because they want to try to keep it balanced.
Sure,
Um, I
but
mean, I think a team of like 5 defenders, like 5 Slow Kings or something like that, or 5 Snorlaxes would be a terrible to go against because they're really hard to take down and really annoying with their walls. So I do think it's for game balance is why they're doing it. That's
makes
saying
sense.
you can still have all attackers and you can still have all defenders. And they do tell you when you build a team, like, oh, for better team synergy, put an all rounder, oh, put a melee, whatever. So they do try to help you, but there's nothing stopping you from doing 5 attackers. That again goes with team synergy.
I guess it makes sense. Yeah. Greg, how's your experience with Pokemon Unite been so far?
Non-existent. Just been downloaded on my Switch.
Nice.
I actually didn't fire it up. I was meaning to, but I didn't. I did watch like a video by Beat 'em Ups and how he was kind of complaining it was like pay to win, and that kind of turns me away from it. I mean, I haven't really played any MOBAs, but they also don't sound like the kind of game for me because I really slashed down Fortnite on the year that came out on Switch. So you'll remember Hassan probably hates me for that, but
They're two totally different games, though.
Very, very different.
understand. But yeah, from what I know of the game, it definitely doesn't seem right that there's only so many Pokemon, and then you can't even. You always have to have like one of each on the team, and then you're trying to buy all these like skills and stuff just to make them even
Oh no, you don't buy
better.
skills. The way it works is as you everyone starts at level 1. So as you're killing wild Pokemon and you're gaining experience in killing other players, when you hit certain levels, your skills evolve and you can choose one of two combinations of skills to upgrade your skills to. You're not actually purchasing that. It's like an upgrade trait.
Yeah, he was. That's how he kind of outlined it. So you get these upgrade traits, and then he said it would take over a year to get them to level 30, or you can put down a credit card and pay $100, and then you can get it to level 30 in seconds. So
That's
that
the items you can equip.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
not
Which
the skills.
which does help for sure,
Oh
but
yes, for sure.
it's not the same as like leveling up. Yeah, you're
Uh,
not
that
paying to level
that
up.
is that is something though. The items, if you pay to level up, you will have a distinct advantage in the beginning. For sure. You will kill more, you will have that advantage, and you will get early victories. That being said, everyone else will slowly catch up to you, and if you're relying on those items instead of your skill, you will lose.
Well, yeah, I mean that's like the same with pretty much any these kind of like free to play type games. There's always the people that can drop hundreds of dollars and be really and pay for the good things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be an ace at the game. I mean, I see that in Fire Emblem Heroes where people buy these characters and will have a plus 10 of the strongest character at the time, and then they can't win like playing other people's maps. So just because you have the paid resources doesn't necessarily mean that you're a god at the game. So I imagine that would apply in this situation as well, but it's kind of disheartening to see that it would take whatever a year just to level up your items or whatever to be the maximum level. It sounds like it's not distributed very evenly.
Yeah. My guess is though, like I've not really gotten into ranked as much, but you're matched up against players that are similar rank as you, so
Yes.
it doesn't really matter in the long run because you're always going to be playing people that are similar to you. So even if you do pay a lot of money or you don't pay a lot of money, you're still going to be playing people that are in a similar place as you. So like for me, like that doesn't bother me, I guess, like because I'm always going to be playing against people that are in a similar, place. Um, the things that like bugged me, I guess, about the game because I'm enjoying it so far. I like it. They're little things that are like in the menu system. Like there are so many places to claim things. Like you win it in the main menu, and then there's like daily challenges, and there's other challenges, and it's all behind a different menu. So you have to go, like, if you earn something, you have to figure out which menu it's in, and you have to go and like pick it. Like it's kind of annoying, just to like claim everything, and it probably doesn't happen like all the time, like as you go, and you'll probably have less things that you're claiming and everything. But in the beginning, there was like 5 different places that I had to check to claim all my my prizes or whatever, and that was kind of annoying. I'm like, okay, just put this all in the same thing, or highlight where I need to go, and just call it a day.
Well, they do highlight
Yeah.
it. There's a little red dot. However, I did notice there's one that doesn't show on the main screen, which is if you're on the main screen, you push L to bring up your profile. If you're like doing well, like in terms of not quitting matches and stuff, and you have a good reputation points, you get 20 gold a day, and that will highlight, but only after you push L. So if you haven't been pushing L, you've been missing 20 gold a day as
Yeah.
a bonus.
Yeah. But overall, it's actually really fun. It's easier to pick up than League of Legends. Like League of Legends was one of those games I tried to pick up one time, and I realized that I was so far behind the general player base in terms of my skill and what I had to learn about the game, and there was different strategies and all these different things that was like too far beyond what I was willing to put in the time and effort to catch up to where I needed to be, at least where I felt I needed to be. But so this is kind of an easier game to pick up and play, I feel like, in comparison to at least League of Legends. And so, yeah, if you've been willing to like are wanting to get into a game like that for a while, Pokemon Unite might be your entry into it, because it's an easier barrier of entry for that for sure. Yeah, there's still some things that I'm learning, and like you said, Barry, like your team makes a huge difference. The other day I was playing, I did really well in my first match. I got VIP or whatever, the very first MVP. The very first game I played, and I had a couple other games. It was great, and then all of a sudden I got put with a bunch of teammates that I guess didn't play or something, because we got smashed like awfully. I was like, what happened? Did you guys just quit or what? And we got horribly beaten. And then I've had some other games where it seems like the other team just quit out of the blue, or I don't know. So, it's a 5-on-5 kind of game, so you never know who you're going to actually get teamed up with. Haven't had a chance to play with friends or anything like that, so I don't know what that kind of experience is like yet. But like you said, Barry, I think this could be a game that if you're playing with like 4 other friends and you're all on TeamSpeak or something, and able to like actually chat with everybody and develop a strategy together, that could be really, really fun.
There is also 3v3 and 4v4 in the quick matches, which are different arenas. So if you haven't, you have to be, I think, level 9 to unlock quick battles. And those change it up completely. So it's a whole different game. So that's also included as a little, bonus. And there's a daily mission to do that as well. You're talking about the team composition and being with people who aren't that good versus that being, really good. There is a negative when people disconnect. That you can tell somebody who isn't there. They won't load up, and they'll sit at base for a while before they eventually get paired with somebody. I've had times where I saw that and I'm like, oh, now it's a 5v4, we're gonna lose, and I was right. We got our ass handed to us. And other times where I was like, 5v4, we're gonna lose, and we wound up, wiping the floor with them. So I guess it really also depends on who you're paired up with. But it does suck that people can disconnect, and you can't back out of a match. So even if it's like, oh, I got to get away, you do get docked points, and you get an email like, oh, because I tried that. I joined a match and I had 2 people quit on me, and I'm like, this is not fair. Let me try to surrender, and they didn't want to surrender. I'm like, we were getting our asses handed to us. I'm like, I'm done, And I came back and we got an email. It's like, oh, within the game, it's like, oh yeah, you lost 2 points, which I gained back the next day, like because you left the match early. And I'm like, well, yeah, because it was a loss. Like it was 5v3. I'm like, what are we gonna do? We're at a complete disadvantage.
Yeah.
That kind of sucked. But it is interesting because every character is not only is every character different. Like a Pikachu versus a Pikachu, they could be playing very different styles, but they could also level them up differently. They could choose different moves, which changes the way the gameplay is done for that character, which I like. So everyone could have their own style that they play. And you mentioned League of Legends getting into, like, if someone wanted to get into League of Legends, those are characters. They have no attachment to those characters. They're just, this one looks cool, I guess. But most people have a connection to some of these Pokemon, if not all of them, that are available. So you inherently going in, I know the character I'm going to play as, and I think that allows more people to get involved, to feel more like, oh yeah, you know what, I want to play this. And as for the Pokemon, you start off with one they give you. Then they give you several for just the start, the start of the game, for logging in every day, for doing certain challenges. They're pretty generous on the amount of Pokemon they do give you, start off. And then you could, of course, purchase new ones. But they also do a rental system where certain Pokemon are on trial. So you may not own, let's say, Charizard, but Charizard's on trial that day. So you can still play as Charizard even though you don't own him. And that's cool because it lets you try out certain characters. And if you find one you really like, wow, I played several matches as Gengar and I really liked Gengar, and then you may want to go to the shop and permanently purchase him. And that can be done with in-game currency, which is great, as well as paid currency, of course. So I like the fact that they give you those trials to not only let you try things, but it also expands everybody's roster of Pokemon, so you have less chances or less likely to get people trying to fight for the same Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah, from I mean, it's free. So clearly there's no nothing on the line at all except for your time. So it's hard to give a recommendation. Would you download this game? Well, what's stopping you? It's free. It's a free game. But the best we can, I guess, if it did cost, I don't know what kind of qualifiers we put around this, but I guess, can we actually recommend this? Is it worth your time? Because it's not going to be worth your money, because you can totally play, you can get involved for nothing and have a good experience and not pay a single penny. It's coming out to mobile devices eventually. I don't think we have a date yet. It's just, I think, soon. So like very soon you'll be able to play across platform as well, and I think your save data and everything, I think, will actually transfer from system to system. I think there's something like that as well. So there's a lot of good stuff about this. It's not perfect, as we talked about, but Barry, would you recommend Pokemon Unite from? I mean, it's, like I said, it's a free game, so why not?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think it's a fun game. I think it's a fun experience. I think you should try it for yourself and make the decision, is this something you want to play? The nice thing is, if you just want to do the daily stuff, which is really what I'm doing, it's like 4 matches a day. Each match is maximum 10 minutes. Quick matches are 5 minutes. So you're looking at 35 minutes or so, say 40 minutes with matchmaking and all that, and loading and stuff, a day to do 4 matches. That's cool. I think that's a small time investment if it's something you're enjoying. If you find yourself not enjoying it, you'll know within the first few matches. But I will say, don't just do one match, because you could get paired with terrible people and be like, oh, I got my ass kicked, I'm done. Don't do a couple matches, because if you're paired with better people that maybe go with your play style, it is a whole different game than going with people who don't know what they're doing, or they're not team players and they just roll over, or they disconnect or whatever. Definitely give it a good college try. And there's a lot of incentives for them to do it. There's a lot of stuff they give away. There's other mechanics too, like we didn't talk about, even the items. You have different items you could equip to use, and that changes up how you're going to play as well. So there's a lot of avenues in this game already, and they're adding more content. The game is very much healthy. We'll see where it is in a month or two, how many active players. But right now is the best time to try it, because everyone's going in on the same level. It's not like, oh, this game's been out for 5 years. I'm going to be playing, and I'll be like, other people will look at me like, oh, you're just a newbie. You don't have to worry about that, even though it does pair you with like-minded and like skilled players. It's definitely worth giving it a shot. And you'll know after say an hour's worth of playtime, if you're not having fun, you wasted an hour of your time. And if you are having fun, you're doing it for free.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you saw on the screen just a second ago, that's a little portion of the opening play cinematic. I was impressed just by the cinematics alone. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, this is not just your regular free-to-play game. They're actually putting some solid effort into this. So yeah, I think it's a game that everybody should at least try out. And see if you enjoy it. If you've been wanting to, like I said earlier, try out some MOBAs and you're like, I don't know if I'll enjoy it or not. This is a perfect one to check out. And you can get as deep into it as you want, or you can play as super casual if you want. The both options are there, or anything in between. Greg, any final thoughts before we wrap up about Pokemon Unite?
Well, yeah, I'll have to see how my first experience relates back to this. Hopefully, next podcast. I mean, I do have it downloaded to try it out, and I had meant to try it out before today. It just got carried away. I'm playing Bravely Default 2, so looking forward to doing it. I don't know how well of a team player I'll be. I don't usually play online games for the most part, so if you do get randomly matched with me, I apologize. I won't be doing the things you'll want me to do because I don't play these games.
Nice. Maybe we'll have to do a 3-on-3 match sometime.
There's a lot of practice too, and a lot of tutorials, and that's one of the things I recommend when starting
That's
this. They put you through a tutorial, but then there's like 5 other tutorials. Go through all the tutorials. It'll just help you better acquaint yourself.
And it doesn't take very long, and you get
No.
prizes and more things to claim when you go through
Yep.
those.
Yeah, they reward
Yeah,
you
I
for
would-
doing all the tutorials.
Yeah, I'm definitely not one to just dive in deep end, just like, all right, let's start up with ranked battles and not have any experience whatsoever. I always try to complete tutorials in just about any game that I start because I kind of need to know how to play the game and what's the goals and how to try to do it.
Yeah. I do think that's good for new players. Like there's a little bit of hand holding in the beginning, but it's a necessary amount of hand holding because if you're unfamiliar with that kind of style of game, you need those tutorials to kind of teach you the basics of what's going on. But they don't do it too long. It's there to keep going, but they eventually let you go. So I mean, you can probably be through the basic tutorials in like a half an hour and hitting your first match within half an hour, 45 minutes, or maybe less if you do quick.
They also have practice matches where not only can you practice, different styles of matches, but you could practice with any of the Pokemon. So if there's a Pokemon you're like, oh, maybe I should buy, let me see how they are. You can go ahead and practice against CPU and see how you like it before you jump into player. So they do have a lot of options for you to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's Pokemon Unite. If you guys have played it, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Or if you're joining us live in the chat room for our podcast, be sure to let us know what you think of Pokemon Unite there as well.